Next story then, also equally horrific. Tshegofatso Pule's family say it felt like they were burying her again as Ntuthuko Shoba was sentenced to life imprisonment for her murder. There were emotional scenes from the family inside court.
Meanwhile, drama unfolded outside court as well between Operation Dudula and EFF members. So now we're joined by our reporters Slindelo Masekane and Aviwe Mtila. They were following proceedings from both sides of the story. And Slee, good evening. I'll bring you in first because let's get to the judgment and the life sentence that's been handed down. Tell us about that.
Well, we heard from Acting Judge Stuart Wilson today when he was handing down the sentence for Ntuthuko Shoba, saying that he had no reasons to deviate really from the prescribed minimum sentence of life in prison. And he went into quite a lot of detail in terms of the trial itself and the evidence that was brought forward, talking about the role in which Ntuthuko Shoba played in the death of Tshegofatso Pule, saying that not only was he the mastermind, not only did he hire Muzgaise Malepane, but one of the most aggravating circumstances was the fact that he was essentially trying to get rid of Pule by any means possible. There was more than one attempt on Tshegofatso Pule's life, saying that if it wasn't Muzgaise Malepane who carried out that killing, Shoba would have went out and found somebody else, saying that Shoba actually used Pule's vulnerability in terms of her depending financially on him to be able to get things for the baby. He used this in order to be able to orchestrate and hand her over essentially to her killer on the 4th of June 2020. Let's take a listen.
I am enjoined by the statute to apply the ordinary sentence for an offence of this nature. You will spend the rest of your natural life in prison unless the parole authorities consider you fit for release in the fullness of time. Accordingly, on count 1 of the indictment, I sentence you to life imprisonment. You may sit down. Thank you. Is there anything further, Mr. Mohammed? Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. The court will adjourn.
All right.
So, Sally, as we get reaction to that sentencing, we'll get to Aviwe in a moment and hear what happened outside. But I think, Slindelo, it's important for us to hear from the family. It's the end of the justice system journey of this matter, but their loss again underlined and underscored. And just a reminder, what was the reaction from the family upon the handing down of this life sentence?
I think you saw a little bit of it in that particular sound clip to us, where as soon as court adjourned, there was ululation. There were, very emotional scenes inside court. Loved ones crying, almost as if they were going through that entire process once more. It was almost a sense of relief. That anxiety of not knowing exactly what kind of sentence the court was going to give to Shoba, because the decision Judge make was to either deviate from the prescribed minimum sentence or hand down a life sentence. And so we had an opportunity to speak to Dumisani Nkatake, that is Tshegofatso Pule's uncle, and he gave us a sense as to how the family is feeling. But we are here in Middlelands, Tulas, with the family, with friends, with loved ones who have gathered at the family home to just, remember her, to finally close this very difficult chapter. But let's take a listen to Mr. Katake.
It's been a long journey. For the whole 2 years, you can imagine the emotions that we've been carrying as a family. But I think at the end of the day, all we can say is that justice has been served. This is all that we've been praying for and hoping for all these times that we've been coming to court. the ordeal that we went through as a family and the sufferings that Mr. Shoba has put us through as a family. I think it felt like we were bearing Tshegofatso again inside the court, hence the emotions that erupted. But I guess from here, it's for us to put this whole thing behind us, start mourning and start the healing process as well.
And of course, this case has generated a great deal of support. There were many people outside the court who had been calling for a life sentence. Aviwe, I'm going to bring you in here because it's interesting that there was some sort of altercation or disagreement between Operation Dudula and the EFF. One would imagine this is not the time to have an altercation when you're focusing on a life cut short of a pregnant woman. Tell us what happened outside court.
Sally, it was Soweto Parliament and the EFF, but it was a morning that actually started out quite peacefully. Dozens came out outside the High Court singing songs as they waited anxiously for that judgment. And as the day proceedings, you could see that there were two groupings from the onset, one comprising of EFF members, and meters away there were the Soweto Parliament members largely, and also some NGOs joining them over there. As the day proceeded, heading to noon when that judgment was handed down, those celebrations turned into excitement, and we saw even some of the family members walk out after that judgment was passed, many rejoicing that Ntuthuko Shoba received that life sentence. But it was only moments into those celebrations, Sally, where we saw the scuffle, which we do understand, started off when Soweto Parliament's Ntuthuko Lux tried to reach out to the EFF grouping, suggesting that they should unite and sing songs together and also address the media together. It was then where the EFF members told them that you're not our leader, you're not going to tell us what to do. In fact, we don't listen to Ntuthuko Lux, and then that scuffle broke down. We ourselves faced the brunt of that scuffle. As my camera colleague Percy Sbia tried to film that incident, he was stopped quite rudely by the EFF members, one of them also coming to me, shouting verbally upright to my face, Sally, also wanting to manhandle me before that scuffle was sorted out. I just want you to get an insight of exactly what happened as that scuffle was happening. Let's take a listen to that.
Yeah, angry scenes outside of the court, and really the focus is on the fact that a woman's life was cut short and should be some justice for her and her family today. Thank you very much to Aviwe Mtila and also inside court, Slindela Masekane.